Welcome back, friends, for another picture book read aloud. Today we're going to read something kind of different. I like the art style. We have Kittybunkport. The words are by Scott Rothman, and the illustrator is actually an award winner. His name is Zachariah Ahura. Look at the interesting art. So much to look at in these pictures. Chowder and Crackers loved being best friends in Kittybunkport. It was the perfect place to sit in the sun, nap, clean themselves, scratch stuff, stare at things, nap some more, hack up hairballs, and of course, catch lobster. The only problem was they were terrified of the town's super haunted lighthouse that showed the way home to cats who'd been out catching lobster all day. I wouldn't say I'm terrified of it. I would. That's exactly what I would say. That's why it was so troubling when the lighthouse suddenly turned off. Meow! 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 Luckily, this didn't scare Chowder or Crackers or any of the other cats of Kittybunkport one bit. Ah, what do we do? This is so scary. We're all super scared right now. I wouldn't say I'm super scared. I would. That's exactly what I would say. They had all heard the stories of how the lighthouse was haunted by the ghosts of all the lobsters ever eaten, and how a couple of fluff balls went out there years ago and never returned. Look at all the lobster ghosts. They're saying, super scary lobster ghosts. It was for this reason that not one scaredy cat in Kittybunkport raised their paw when the harbor master asked for volunteers to go see what was wrong, especially not Chowder and Crackers. Hmm. That's why it was so troubling when they were chosen. For the record, I thought about raising my paw. For the record, I did not. As they neared the lighthouse that night, Chowder and Crackers realized there wasn't anything to worry about. I like the boat's called Lobster Lover. Other than everything, hey Crackers, just want to know that just want you to know that despite how my face looks and how all my fur is standing up and how much I'm shaking, I'm actually not scared at all. Okay, just so you know, I am more scared than I have ever been in my entire life. Inside the lighthouse, Chowder and Crackers were surprised to find it wasn't half as scary as they thought. It was way scarier. I wouldn't say way scarier. That's exactly what I would say. Crackers is out of here. Chowder grabbed Crackers, and together they climbed through the thick, very gross cobwebs up the lighthouse's creaky stairs. Look in the porthole there. Oh. To keep Crackers calm, because Crackers was the only scared one, Chowder tried talking about less scary things like the manner in which they would each prefer to eat lobster. I prefer my lobster on top of macaroni and cheese. Mr. Keller would agree. Interesting. I prefer my lobster in roll form. A yummy, yummy sandwich. Lobster roll. Look in the bottom corner. Oh, they're hiding. After reaching the top of the lighthouse, they both felt much better. That is why it was so troubling when a lobster ghost appeared. Run, lobster ghost! It is! It's the ghost of a lobster! That's definitely what it is. Hmm. It wasn't. It was a dog holding a giant box that said light bulb. Do either of you have a ladder? The reason I ask is because, as you can tell, by the extremely yellow pants I'm wearing, I am a dog that fishes professionally, and I can't find my way back home without this lighthouse. So I anchored my very cool boat out there and came in to turn the light on, but I can't get high enough to change the light bulb. Hmm. Chowder and Crackers needed to make sure the dog was telling the truth. First, they checked the dog's pants. They were indeed extremely yellow. Next, they checked the dog's boat. It was indeed very cool. Finally, they checked the light bulb. It was indeed very high and out of reach and not working. We don't have a ladder, but we can make one. And just so you know, we only screamed before because we weren't scared of you. Just so you know, I was very scared of you. As offered, Chowder and Crackers made a cat ladder to help the dog. First, Chowder formed a strong base. Next, Crackers climbed atop Chowder. Finally, the dog climbed them both. And just as their 12-pawed ladder was about to topple, the dog changed the light bulb. Leaving Chowder and Crackers. Leaving, Chowder and Crackers looked back at the blazing lighthouse and realized they would never be scared of it again. Dogs either. Hey, dog, do you want to come back to Kittybunkport with us to grab some whoopie pies? I should get back home, but if you ever travel up north, you should come and visit. Oh, yeah? Where do you live? Ooh. Where do you think the dog lives? Bark Harbor! His boat's called the Good Boy. When Chowder and Crackers returned, the cats of Kittybunkport treated them like heroes and let them eat all the lobster they could in exactly the manner in which they preferred it. Well, we've got the lobster mac and cheese and we've got the lobster rolls. And I see some guests in the background hanging around. The end. Thank you so much for joining me for today's picture book read aloud. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Thank you again for joining me today. I hope you stay safe. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I can't wait to see you next time. Thanks, friends. Bye.